Hello, friends, and welcome back to Tea with Jennifer, steeped in wisdom. Every Friday, we slow down, share a cup of tea, and explore one idea that can help us build a legacy, not just a portfolio. I am so glad that you are here. This week, I am enjoying something that feels exactly right for a Friday morning, that is ready to get something done. Portland breakfast from the wonderful people at Steven Smith Teamaker right here in Portland, Oregon. Portland breakfast is a bold, full-bodied black tea blend, the kind of cup that clears the fog, focuses the mind, and gets you ready to move. It is straightforward, honest, no fuss, and yet there is a real depth to it when you slow down enough to notice. Smith Teamaker created this blend as a tribute to Portland itself, a city that values hard work, independence, and doing things with intention. And that is exactly the energy I want to bring into today's conversation. Because today we are talking about something that matters deeply to the families I work with. And it starts with a simple question: what if you could keep the wealth without keeping the work? This week's theme is Freedom Creates Space, and today's lesson is exactly that: how simplifying your real estate today creates peace of mind tomorrow. Over the past two episodes, we have talked about the mindset behind great real estate decisions and the 5 questions that help you assess where your plan stands. Today, I want to talk about what happens when someone answers those questions and realizes that one of their properties is no longer serving them the way that it once did. Maybe it is a rental that has appreciated beautifully over the years. Maybe it is a property they inherited. Maybe it is something they built intentionally. But the seasons have changed, and now the management feels like a second job that they never signed up for. And here is what I see happen in that moment: the owner feels stuck. They know they want out, but they do not want to lose what they have built. And the thought of the capital gains tax alone is enough to make them put the decision off for another year. I have heard it hundreds of times. I will deal with it eventually when the timing is right. But here is what eventually usually costs. In real estate, we have a term for the things that drain the joy out of owning property. We call them the terrible T's: tenants, toilets, trash, termites, taxes. If you have owned a rental property for any length of time, you know exactly what I mean. The 11 o'clock phone call, the maintenance bill that you did not budget for, the tenant who stops paying in month 7, the vacancy that cost you 2 months of income. None of that is fun, and none of it has to be permanent. What most property owners do not realize is that there are strategies, perfectly legal, widely used, and highly effective, that let you exit the terrible T's without triggering a massive tax bill and without giving up your income. Let me walk you through the 2 most powerful ones. Strategy 1, the 1031 exchange. A 1031 exchange, named after Section 1031 of the Internal Revenue Code, allows you to sell an investment property and reinvest the proceeds into another qualifying property, deferring all of your capital gains taxes in the process. Here is what that means in real terms. Let's say you purchased a rental property 20 years ago for $200,000. It is now worth $800,000. If you sell it outright, you are potentially looking at significant capital gains and depreciation recapture taxes, which could easily consume 20 to 30% of your profit. With the 1031 exchange, you defer all of that. You take that full 800,000 and reinvest it into a property or properties that better serve where you are going, not where you have been. The key rules: you have 45 days from the sale to identify your replacement property and 180 days to close. Timing matters, which is why having the right advisor involved before you list is so important. The 1031 exchange does not eliminate the tax, it defers it. But here is the beautiful truth. If you continue to exchange until the end of your life, your heirs receive what is called a stepped up cost basis, which can eliminate the deferred tax entirely. That is not just a strategy, that is generational wealth. Strategy 2, the Delaware Statutory Trust, or DST. A Delaware Statutory Trust is a fractional ownership structure that qualifies as a like-kind property in a 1031 exchange, and it solves a problem that the standard 1031 does not fully address for everyone. What if you want out of active property management, but you still want the income? What if you are approaching retirement and you want the wealth your property represents, but you are done being a landlord? A DST lets you exchange your property into a professionally managed real estate portfolio, commercial, multifamily, industrial, and receive a passive income distributions without a single tenant phone call, maintenance request, or vacancy to manage. You keep the wealth, you keep the income, you lose the terrible T's. DSTs are not the right vehicle for everyone. They are illiquid, meaning you cannot easily sell your interest, and they do carry risks like any real estate investment. But for the right client at the right stage of life, they can be genuinely transformational. And they are one of the most underutilized tools I see in wealth planning because most property owners simply do not know that they exist. So here is what I want you to hear today. If you are holding a property that no longer serves you because of the management burden, the stage of life you are in, or simply because it is time for something different, you are not stuck. There are strategies that let you simplify without sacrificing, that let you create freedom without giving up what you have built. Simplifying today creates peace of mind tomorrow. And the first step is simply having the conversation. Portland breakfast is reminding me of something this morning. There is a kind of freedom that comes with simplicity. When you clear away what no longer serves you, in a home, in a portfolio, in a life, what remains has more room to breathe. I think about this in my own life often. The older I get, the more I understand that what we choose to let go of matters just as much as what we choose to hold on to. My mother is 91. She has lived a full, beautiful, intentional life. And one of the things she taught me through how she lived, not what she said, is that peace of mind is not something that arrives at the end of a long journey. It is something you create one decision at a time along the way. The families I work with who carry the least stress about their real estate are not always the ones with the most. They are the ones who made the decision while they still had time and choices to simplify, to free themselves, to build something that would outlast the work of managing it. That is what freedom creates: space for the things that matter most. Thank you for being here today. If this conversation resonated with you, if you've been sitting with a property that no longer feels like freedom, I would love to help you explore what your options might look like. DM me the word legacy, and I will send you the Family Legacy Planning Guide, a complimentary resource that walks you through the questions worth asking before any major real estate decision. And if you have a specific question about 1031 exchanges or Delaware Statutory Trusts, DM me the word DST. I will send you a plain language guide to both strategies. Legacy for the planning guide and DST for the strategy overview. Drop your questions and thoughts in the comments. I read and respond to everyone. Until next Friday, may your cup be full, your heart be grateful, and your plans bring peace.